Thanks so much, guys, for coming on today. How exciting is this new adventure and project for you?
We're excited. Thank you, Alex, for having us. Me and Dino, we just started this venture, and it's gone pretty well. We're on our what is it, Dino? Like second week now, but almost third.
Yeah, we're definitely trying to crank them out as much as possible, but yeah, we're just hitting the ground running on this one, and it's been a lot of fun.
Excellent. So, obviously you're coming into quite a crowded landscape when it comes to professional wrestling media and podcasts. And I know that you're just getting underway. Can both of you talk a little bit about just your general approach and how you plan to differentiate yourself and stand out from the crowd?
Yeah, so what we want to do is make our show unique. It was important for Dino and myself to be able to talk frank. I know a lot of podcasts kind of play it safe, in their narrative, and I want to be able to voice my opinion and Dino as well, but not to disrespect the business or the company we're talking about or the superstars. I have a good insight about my experience in the wrestling industry, and Dino's been in it for 20 years, and I'll let Dino take it over from here.
But yeah, we definitely want to be able to express our opinions on things, basically on how things could be different, be more constructive of it, as opposed to a lot of people who, as Vicky stated, control their narrative, which I tend to feel is a lot more critical than it is constructive. So we like to offer our insights from both of our platforms of experience and collective years, and just try to, in some way, see things from a more positive platforms in order to better this industry that we care about and that we've been a part of.
Sure. And Vicky, just being one of the true all-time iconic talkers and mic workers, it seems like such a natural for you to have a podcast at this stage. And I was just wondering, did you always have that sort of outgoing personality? And who were some of your influences when you got into the business and in a regular TV role that helped you on the mic and helped you cut promos that fans remember to this day?
Yeah, I mean, with me being outgoing, I think that's helped, being inside a ring. You definitely can't be shy. And for my experience, in front of the cameras, I enjoy the business. I mean, I learned to respect it when I was first dating Eddie. And so it took 4 years for him to actually give me any kind of secrets of the wrestling world. So he wanted to make sure that we were going to last, so to speak, before he spilled all the guts of what, the secrets were behind the scenes. But as far as, doing these promos, I did have a lot of help when I first started because I came from a housewife watching my girls and then just got thrown into the wrestling ring. So for me to be able to earn my position and to earn that spot on WWE, I definitely went to a lot of people. Teddy Long, Dusty Rhodes, Paul Heyman was a big influence on me, with the promos. And then also, I was my biggest critic. So, and for me to be able to watch it back and to learn from my mistakes. And Vince McMahon was a very big part of my career. He kind of guided me, told me what was good and bad. So, to have this podcast, I have one already, but this one's going to be the new one. Cut the Bull is going to be replacing this one. And I love it. I mean, me and Dino love to talk. We gel. We didn't even meet each other in person. We just met each other on what's it called, Discord. And we just started talking. We gelled really good together, and he has experience in the industry, and I think it's for us to have different opinions and so much to agree to disagree. I think that's going to be a great concept of our show, and we're going to allow the fans to be involved with this show. So I think that's going to be a different outlook than what other shows bring to the table.
Vicky, a quick follow up on that. You said that Eddie kind of taught you the secrets once you learned, and got involved. What was the first secret you learned that kind of shocked you?
Well, what I thought was really crazy was that I would see like the good guys and bad guys like talking backstage, and it kind of freaked me out because they would kick each other's butt, in the ring, and I'm like, and now they're talking backstage. Like, I don't understand this. Like, why why are they coming out of the same dressing room? Like, I'm not understanding what's going on. And he'll just be like, just hold on, just, wait till when you're ready, I will let you know. And I just found out that it's a big family that loves to entertain the fans, and there's a lot of respect backstage. So once I got to know that, then I wasn't so upset with myself, because I would get all worked up, during the matches. And these were in Mexico, so
Mm.
when I would sit at the tunnel and I would watch, the baby face and the heel, come out of the same dressing room, I'm like, wait a minute, like this is really incorrect here. Like, this is not following protocol. But yeah, that was like one of the big things. And then also, just like I always thought that the finish of the match was out there. Like, no one knew what was going on, and so he kind of gave me the guidelines of them talking over the match, and there was a storyline. So I was very fortunate to have Eddie have patience with me and to gently bring me into the business. And then I grew to love it. So it's part of my life now these days.
Dino, what about you? Obviously, you've been around pro wrestling too. So, like, what's a secret that kind of surprised you when you found out about, the backstage areas and just access of pro wrestling?
Well, I would have to say it was definitely when the art of the kayfabe. There was this local worker named Taro, and he stayed completely dedicated to the bit of him retiring. And this was at a local show, and they were doing it at the swap meet, and he came in formal and everything. I'm like, oh crap, he's really going to retire. And he did. Basically, in a nutshell, for those of you who don't know, this was the Mark Henry salmon jacket promo before the Mark Henry salmon jacket promo. And so, like, he gave the whole heartfelt speech. He gave the goodbyes. He brought out some of his old opponents and friends, and it led to him turning heel, turning Rudo. And he DDT'd him, and he's like, I got more in the tank. Like, just same thing, but like just a lot more louder, and definitely just this scrawny luchador who's just full of like big man energy. And so just like, I got played the whole what? Like that was literally the whole thing. Like, I did not know. Like, I thought, like, what, I literally think that everybody's going into this place bearing their heart and soul, and that's what it is. Like, nobody fakes a retirement. Like, what the hell's going on here? And that's when I'm just like, you have to commit to it. The second that you get into that building, you have to be on point. It doesn't matter if you're already in the locker room or if you're literally just walking around looking at, like, the knockoff toys or getting a churro. Like, you got to commit to it. So I was like, damn, okay, that's a secret. You got to commit to it. So
yeah, that's true.
both of you, you've talked about your years in the business, and your careers have kind of spanned eras, and you've seen quite a bit. I know this is a topic that's broached a lot, but for both of you, how have you seen the industry evolve, both from a positive perspective and maybe from a critical perspective?
You want to go first, Vic?
It doesn't matter.
Okay. Well, all right, I guess I'll go first. So basically, the positives of it, it's wonderful to see that constantly there is that upcoming generation of things. You see the younger students coming in, and they're just as hungry as you were when you started this, and you remember, like, oh my gosh, like, I was just like you. I want to do this. I want the moments that are going to mean the most to me, but also to those who will pay attention to what I have to offer. And it's nice to see that it is continuously going, and how even people, like, when in my bracket or anything else, I'm like, oh crap, we're the teachers now. This is weird. But like, it's very refreshing to spill that whatever knowledge you have and whatever you have learned to help make the journey just a little more easier for them. With that also being said, the negative side of it is that creativity, I find, is usually not rewarded in a business that is based on creativity. And I have seen so many people with a lot of great ideas that would definitely push the envelope beyond the standard of heel, face. Like, people who literally go through in depth with the character, people who want to take those old school elements that made us think, oh crap, is this is real. Like they're fighting in a parking lot somewhere, or they followed them to their home and they're doing this. But like a lot of people who want that old school way of style won't adapt to the newer ways of thinking of it. It's like, no, that's not how this is going to go. We need to keep it this way. I don't want to risk anything, and it's not even a risk. So it's the old ways of thinking that are in charge, that are fearing of change, refusing to adapt. And I feel that that is definitely something that could be better for professional wrestling, not just as a business, but as a whole, because it will keep things more interesting to the classic fans, as well as the ones who are like, what are you watching? Because that, to me, that's the mentality. Like, what are you watching? I'm watching this. Oh crap, that looks good. Join in on it. But in order to do that, the thing that needs to change, one of the many things that I feel needs to change the most, is the welcoming of the adapted creativity.
Yeah, I think for me, the negative aspect that I've seen in the last few years is that a lot of rookies come up without being in the indies, and they're granted these huge championships, and they have this main spot on TV every week, and they never learn the respect of the business. They never learn the driving the 6 hours at night to go from show to show, and the countless hours of training, and the injuries. Some of these people I know don't even have injuries yet. And that, to me, just shows that you haven't sacrificed everything to be a part of this promotion, or, this industry that we have. And a lot of kids, are handed things, on a silver platter. And it's just a lack of, gosh, if Eddie was here, I know that he would just go on and on about things that we see these days, is that, these kids get these, opportunities, and they don't understand the meaning of it. They don't understand the people that led the path before them, of how much these other people worked, and years of how this evolution of wrestling, has been established. So that kind of pisses me off when I see kids not take it, as a be humbled and full of gratitude that they have these opportunities, and they just take it for granted. They get a big check, and they just kind of spend their money, and life is good, and they're just not kind of looking out for having respect in the locker room. And that's something that's kind of discouraging. But as far as the positive side, I think that everyone loves wrestling, and there's something for every fan, whatever promotion you like, there's enough wrestling out there that will appease the fans, whether you like one promotion or different superstars and different ones. I think that's the exciting part, is that every night you can turn on the channel and there's something going on. So, I was watching MLW last night, and it's just like, it's amazing how it's just such a favorite, for fans to be able to just turn the TV on, and you have something to see.
Vickie, you've obviously been around around in wrestling for a lot of years now. Have you?
Calling me old?
I know.
Yes.
I knew you were going to say that as soon as I phrased.
It was a nice conversation, Alex.
I know you're kidding, but you have a lot of experience. And do you believe wrestling is becoming more popular now?
Do. I think that there's a lot of exposure on it, a lot of attention. And maybe it's just because right now we're going into April, and WrestleMania is coming up, and there's WrestleCon, and all the independents come together. I think there's just a lot of, chaos that's fun and exciting to see. You can go to one city and you can catch all kinds of promotions. I think that's the great part of it. I just think it's a kind of a season each year. There's a season that gets really exciting about wrestling, and then it kind of comes back down. So yeah, that's what I would say about it.
And this is my favorite part of any interview I do. It's the Fast 5 Quick Round. It's 5 quick questions, and you have as much time to answer them. So I'll open the floor. Both of you can respond to each of these. First one. What would be one person you would love to have a match with?
Oh, shoot. Oh, man, that definitely. I mean, I know that he can't go anymore, but I would totally bump to the moon for Mick Foley, especially if he was Cactus Jack. Cactus Jack was one of my favorites as well. Hell, I would bump still for Terry Funk now. Like, he could literally put me through a flaming table, and I will bump to hell and high heaven for that man. But Yeah, those, something extravagant, not just for myself, but definitely to make them look fantastic. So,
Yeah, I think for me it'd be Sensational Sherry. I think we would have really tore it up in the middle of the ring. I would
oh
love
yeah.
to have, been able to, bust her chops, and have these great promos and then knock the crap out of each other. I would be honored. So she'd be one that I wish, she was still around, that we could, have that opportunity to go against each other.
What is your favorite all-time WWE pay-per-view name?
Great Balls of Fire.
Oh my gosh. I think SummerSlam. I think it just has a lot of meaning behind it. I've always loved that one.
Then the third one, what would be your guys' tag team name? Like, would it be Cut the Bull, or would you have a specific name for the tag team?
Oh,
I mean, based on most mainstream tag team naming, I mean, the Cougar and the Bull would definitely be
Ooh.
a fantastic one, because I used to go by the name of the Charging Bull with the golden horns. And so if I were to throw on the hat and the boots one more time and tag with Vickie, I think the Cougar and the Bull would definitely look good on a t-shirt, come with a really cool symbol and everything. We win those intergender tag team championships.
definitely the Cougar would be riding the bull. I mean, that would be something with my crown and everything.
We'll piggyback to the ring. I could do it.
Who's one guest you can't wait to have on the podcast?
So I know who. I know who I would. JR. Jim
Oh,
Ross.
JR. Wow. Yeah, that would be fantastic.
I'm working on it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, one that I am like, I think would be a true testament of my professionalism. At the same time, throwing it back, Heyman. If we can get Heyman,
Oh,
I would. I told Vickie about this in a conversation. If we manage to get Paul Heyman on the show, you will literally see 5-year-old me transform into this 40-something-year-old man, where I'm just like, yeah, like literally just listening to story time at kindergarten. I'm just like, yeah, wow, like just blown my mind to it. So to me, that's the one, because that man was legitimately one of the studies that I would do as a manager and any type of selling of a match. So to me, that would just be surreal.
And then the fifth one, yeah. Like the fifth one, kind of playing off of that. Is there someone in the pro wrestling world when you met them you were starstruck?
Well, yeah. I mean, the first time, one of the first things that I ever did was I went to go pick up wrestlers from their hotel, and I got to pick up Terry Funk.
Oh.
He was the first one that I ever met. One of the kindest, most respectful gentlemen ever. I told him I was a student. He's like, "Oh, that's great. So nice to meet you." I'm like, "Oh, Mr. Funk, let me get your bags." "Oh, don't worry about that. But call me Terry. I got my bag here." And the guy literally bought me a candy bar like any great grandfather would. And I'm just like, this is the best day ever. Terry Funk bought me a Snickers bar and is treating me like a worker. So
gosh, I think mine's gonna be so opposite of what Dino said. The people that I was starstruck from was first The Rock, which he ended up, breaking my heart because he's saying to me that momentous night that we thought that we were gonna start a storyline. And the other one was Undertaker, and he ended up tombstoning me. So at first they were great to meet, but then on down the line we got to work with each other, and I didn't have very much appreciation for them after the fact. So that was yeah.
I still demand that we see Vickie Guerrero be the manager of The Rock.
He doesn't need me. And he's too busy making movies. Like he forgot all the small people. So.
Alice, was that 5 already?
Yeah, that's 5.
You're flying. I thought that
I
was
know
4.
it.
All right, so I got one follow-up. This one's for Vickie. So Alex asked you earlier about, a dream opponent. You mentioned Sensational Sherry. This is more from a promo standpoint. Who is the superstar, past or present, that you would most want to interrupt with your patented "excuse me" catchphrase?
Oh my goodness. Past or present. Probably Eddie would have been really great to have interrupted, because at home he always had the last word in everything. So but I think, someone that be present, I would have loved to work with MJF. I think he's fantastic. I think we would have had a lot of fun. Yeah, so that would probably be my present, choice.
Real quick follow-up.
Oh yeah.
Do you have stories behind just how "excuse me" happened?
Yeah,
That became your catchphrase?
yeah, excuse me, it was a fluke. I was going live on Raw. I was in the wheelchair, kayfabing that I was injured, and they changed my promo about 5 or 6 times. And I went out there, and Teddy Long was pushing me in the wheelchair, and I wasn't memorizing any of the promos. They were completely different. Vince kept revising these promos to different topics, and whatever he was thinking, I knew that I was going to, kind of suck that night. And the last one, we were like 5 till live, and the last promo came was about 1.5 pages, and I just kind of like threw my hands up in the air. I'm like, Teddy, I think I'm gonna get fired tonight. And he goes, yeah, he goes, you're gonna suck tonight. He goes, this is awful. And I mean, he felt so bad for me, and he wheeled me out there, and I probably had the first 2 lines memorized of maybe one of the promos. And the fans are very smart. We have the most intelligent fans when they know that something is going wrong on stage. And I kind of had like a deer headlights on. I didn't even know where to begin or to end. And the fans caught on. They're like, you forgot your lines. You need to go home. And they were like throwing me fingers, and they were like yelling at me. They were telling me that I don't deserve to be on that stage. And I just yelled out, excuse me. I told Teddy Long, I'm like, take me back. They're wasting my time. And that's how I came up with it. And the writers couldn't believe how the fans roared back at me. And every week they wrote it in. And, it's been a thing now for 17 years, and I've trademarked it. So those 2 words, I would have never have imagined that they were going to be in my favor. But yeah, it's good for today.
Wow, that's amazing.
It wasn't amazing at that time.
Well,
I bet.
so did you know when you were heading to the back that you're like, I'm safe and I'm not going to get fired because I found excuse me?
No, because it was just a fluke. When you go back in Gorilla, if you did a great job, Vince will get up and he'll shake your hand, and he'll like kind of talk about, what happened. When I got wheeled back there, he didn't even look at me. He didn't even like acknowledge me walking back. And that's when it was very uncomfortable. And that's usually when you've done a good or bad job, is, if there's no, reaction or anyone talking to you about it. And they didn't fire me, but the writers said, hey, let's turn this negative into a positive, and let's start doing this excuse me and see if it works. And yeah, now the fans, I love to interrupt at anyone that's, in the ring, and it's been a favorite pastime of mine.
And then, Vickie, the last question I have for you, it's about what's happening right now in the WWE. Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio, where Dominic kind of slyly brought Eddie into the storyline. So I have to ask, what's your opinion on this Rey Mysterio, Dominic Mysterio feud?
My only reaction is that I wish I was part of it. I just think, man, they're having so much fun. Dominic and Rhea have always texted me, and we talk back and forth, and they've always had my support. And when Dominic kind of said, kind of put those 2 pictures of Eddie and Dominic side by side, it came out on Twitter. It was remarkable how much they looked alike. And so, I told Dominic, I'm like, you have this honorary position of having Eddie live in the storyline, and you have my support. And he's so, full of gratitude. And Ray, I love him, and Angie. So to have my support was something that was nothing short of. I wish I was there to see it. But yeah, they're doing a great job, and I'm really happy for them. And I want to see what happens, at WrestleMania and see what they do with it.
Can you make a prediction?
I'm gonna say Dominic because he's a little younger and quicker, and I think that would be the logical, solution because Ray, I think he's gonna retire. So unless it's kayfabe, he's gonna come back.
Well, you guys have been phenomenal. So to end it, put you guys over. Where can you listen to the podcast and get and follow you all on Twitter and get the podcast?
Go ahead, Dino.
All right, well, you can catch us on Patreon for Cut the Bull. We try to put out an episode as fast as possible. We got a lot to talk about, so we're just going to be firing those out. You can also catch me on Instagram for the funky fresh name of DizzleWizzle983, as well as Twitter for Howdy Price DW. And just feel free to catch me on there. And you can catch the wonderful, sensational Vickie Guerrero at, tell them your socials, Vic.
At Instagram, I'm at Guerrero_Vickie. On Twitter, I'm at Vickie Guerrero. Guys, sign up. It's going to be a lot of fun. The fans are going to have a chance to be a producer of the show if they purchase the high tier. They can catch Dino and I doing live promos during an episode. And also, we have some great merchandise. And Dino also does impressions. So there's a tier that they can order just for Dino to do an impression. So we have a lot of cool stuff. I think we have a fresh look for this podcast, and I hope everyone enjoys it.
And your craft Instagrams, where can people get?
Yeah, I work at HSN, so I'm at excuse_me_creates, and I'm a crafty influencer. F it.
I love it. I love it, you guys. But thanks so much for coming on the Whole Story podcast today. You two are great, and I can't wait to listen to all these podcast episodes.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you so much. I have 2 words for y'all.